I'm Kevin Downey. I've actually set my business up 3 times now. If I go back in time, why did I do it? And why are you thinking about doing it? I'm not sure what your reason for doing it is, but for me at the time, I actually was in full-time employment. I was managing director of a highways maintenance business. I just had inside of me a burning desire to do my own thing. I actually wanted to go into learning and development. The biggest challenge or the biggest risk I faced was I've got 2 small children and my wife, and the challenge was actually risking losing income and going into a field where there was actually no income guaranteed at all. The thing that drove me to that was just a desire to do what I felt I was here to do. I just knew there was something bigger, something better than being in straightforward employment. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but just wanted to be entrepreneurial, set my own business up. And at the time, of course, 5-Step didn't exist. I wish it had in many ways, because actually I made loads of mistakes. And you'll make mistakes, right? You're in the risk game. But I do genuinely believe that with the right support, with the right drive, you'll generate the right level of self-belief to make it happen. Now with the 5-Step, of course, you just get a logical way of looking at things, which entrepreneurs aren't always logical in their thinking. And so I think that that's a powerful support to have. So I've been entrepreneurial, running my own business for over 20 years now. It would have been a good investment for me 20 years ago, because I think it would have saved me time. And when you think about investment, don't just think about finance. Think about time. The biggest investment you're making actually isn't the pounds or the dollars or the currency you're thinking of. The biggest investment you're making is lifetime. If it can save you 6 months, man, that's valuable. So I'd encourage you to think about investment rather than spend. And I'd encourage you to widen your view of investment from purely financial to time. This will save you time. It will concertina the time down. Make it an investment, not a spend. Think of it that way. Before you actually part with your money, make sure you truly want to set your own business up. Make sure you truly will give it a go. They reckon that 80% of self-help books are purchased and left on the bookshelf. That's a waste. People just feel better for having the books, I suppose. But you've got to read it, you've got to apply it, and you'll get the return on it. I've never known anyone who set themselves up and regretted it. And yet every person has said how difficult it was to make the step. People think that it's risky setting up your own business. I fundamentally disagree with that paradigm or that way of thinking. The risk that people don't consider is, what's the risk of doing nothing? What's your risk of not investing in your own future? There is a risk. It could be a financial risk. It could be a psychological risk. For me, it was a psychological and a financial risk. I risked losing my income, and if I didn't move forward, I risked psychologically losing my self-belief that I could achieve something greater than I was today. Every one of us has got a need to be better than we are today. Every one of us wants to add value to society. What's the risk of not stepping in? What's the risk of not doing something? Ask yourself that question. If you do what you're currently doing, what are the risks you're taking? Then you've got a barometer against which to measure the risk of doing something. Your biggest risk is inactivity, because time's moving on. There'll be a moment when your great idea, your thought, will pass you by, or someone else will pick it up. So what's your risk of nothing, of inactivity? There's thousands of reasons not to do it. You just need the one. Now I'm in learning and development, so I actually teach Fortune 500 companies. I work with the senior leadership level, so executive committees, board of directors level, and I'm helping not only leaders to think about how do you run an effective business. My primary aim is how do you help people to be better than they think they can be. So if you've got an idea but you're not sure that you can do it, think about how to be better than you believe you can be. It's possible. We all have within us what it takes to do something bigger and better than what we are today. And I was just mindful when I was asked to cut this video. I was thinking about Nelson Mandela, and Mandela often talked about how do you inspire others to be better than they think they can be. And what helped him to be inspired in all those years, 24 years I think, in prison. And he relied on a poem called Invictus. I actually brought it with me, so I'm just going to read this to you. It's the last two lines. I think this is the reason why you want to be an entrepreneur. The last two lines of Invictus are, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. You'll be that when you run your own business. Now, if you do take the 5-step process here, you minimise the risk of not being successful because you've got a formula that you can follow, a pattern you can follow. And it's useful for you, right? It just helps you and guides you along the way. That's got to be beneficial. So, if you want to step up, you need to step out. You've got to step out of the known and you've got to step into the unknown and be excited about it. You're pioneering. You're creating something, not only for your benefit, but I'm hoping for the benefit of society. Have the strength and courage of your own convictions. You've got it within you. With support, I believe you'll make it. I believe everyone can make it. Understand what you're here to do. Have the drive to do it. Be compelled towards something and get the necessary support. I actually think by talking to other entrepreneurs and people, and if I take the 5-step example, that ability to chat, connect, have the structured approach will enable you to be a freer thinker, enable you to achieve more. I'd urge you, if you've got a driver to be an entrepreneur and set your own stuff up, do it. I don't think anybody wants to lie on their deathbed wondering if they could have made it. Find out, and if it doesn't work, guess what? You can always go and find a job.